Good evening, Rochester City School District, wherever you are watching us from. Thank you and welcome to our 2021 Educator of the Year Awards program. I'd like to thank our Board of Education, President Van White, Vice President Cynthia Elliott, and our commissioners, as well as our Superintendent, Dr. Leslie Myers-Small, for your collective leadership and service. My name is Chris Miller, and I am the Chief of Human Capital for the district. Tonight, we are here to recognize and celebrate the exceptionally skilled and passionate educators who exist in every school in our district. The New York State Board of Regents recognizes a Teacher of the Year annually. This year, to support one educator with an application in that competition, we held our own Educator of the Year nomination and selection process. Recognizing that all our staff contribute meaningfully to support students, family, staff, and our community, we created additional categories for recognition beyond teacher. This new annual event is an opportunity to recognize staff accomplishments and dedication to the children, families, and Rochester community. Due to our extraordinary circumstances, our program is taking place virtually, and we look forward to the day we can more appropriately honor our staff in person. It is so important that we celebrate and uplift others, and that is what we are here to do tonight. I would now like to introduce our Board of Education President, Van White, who will provide remarks on behalf of the Board of Education.
Hi, everybody. I don't know if you can see me. I can't see me, but that's okay. Chris, can folks see me out there?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. I'm looking at our Educator of the Year logo, and it looks wonderful. I want to first thank Leslie and Chris and all those folks who I know helped Leslie and Chris put this effort together. It is indeed an important and critical effort that we recognize our educators throughout the district and not just depend on the state alone or our families to recognize the value of the services they provide. Next, I want to just make clear to you that the best example I can give, the best statement I can give, and this is what my grandfather used to say. He used to tell us, you don't always know when you're going to get to where you want to go, but it's very important that you know who's going to get you there. And so while my colleagues and I understand the importance of the role of the Board of Education, we understand the critical leadership role that our superintendent and her staff play, we humbly, rationally, reasonably, and accurately recognize that we cannot take this journey successfully without our educators. While we know where we want our children to be, we know we cannot get them there without you. We cannot get our children where they need to be without your patience, your determination, and your diligence. We realize that while we know we have a legal, indeed maybe for some a spiritual obligation to partake in this journey with our families and our colleagues, we know that it is in fact our educators that are going to get our children to the place they need to be. So on behalf of the entire Board of Education, I dare say, on behalf of the entire city of Rochester, thank you, educators, for what you do and for where you will take our children.
Thank you, President White. I would now like to welcome our Superintendent, Dr. Leslie Myers-Small.
Thank you, Dr. Miller, and good evening. Tonight, we are here virtually to honor our staff who have contributed significantly to our students, our staff, and community as Educators of the Year. Rochester City School District's first annual Educator of the Year program is a recognition program that takes nominations from the field, from peers, and acknowledges exceptional work. While we are not honoring everyone, we appreciate the impact and influence all of our staff have on our students' families and the city of Rochester. Collectively, we take pride in your accomplishments and commitment to the children of the Rochester City School District as Educators of the Year. I, therefore, send individual and collective congratulations to each of you for achieving this milestone and accomplishment. We know that you have worked hard and appreciate your dedication. Maya Angelou once said, "You can only truly become accomplished at something you love, so pursue the things you love doing." On behalf of all of our students and families, I thank you for showing your love through your work. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Myers-Small. Tonight, we will be honoring 7 of our staff as Educators of the Year. Thanks to the generosity of our healthcare partner, Lawley, their generosity in donating funds to cover the cost of an engraved crystal apple that will be presented to each recipient. And they will receive it. Some may receive it during the event tonight, and others will receive it certainly very soon. So honoring our building leader, Educator of the Year, will be Chief of Schools, Laurel Avery DeToy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm truly honored to be here to celebrate the leadership of Dave Passereau. One of my favorite quotes is, "We are always interviewing." And Dave and all, you have a lot of friends watching. I'm going to read a few statements from letters that were written about your accomplishments. The one words that keep resonating for me is listens to student voice, listens to others' voices, and always holding these voices in such high regard. I'm going to read a quick 2 sentences from one of the letters. Lastly, Mr. Passereau's creativity and positivity are contagious. When met with a rolling ocean of change in the storm of COVID, he stays focused on the horizon, sees the bright spots of growth, appreciates those in his community riding the waves with him, and never lets go of anyone, student, staff, faculty, or parent. The other gift is that Dave is very humble in his leadership. And so I think this final statement sums it up. His leadership inspires hope, and as one staff member recently remarked, is a breath of fresh air. Congratulations, David Passereau. I'm very proud and honored to share this recognition as the Building Leader Educator of the Year. Thank you for all that you do for children in our community and our district.
Thank you. I'm extremely honored to receive this award. I do want to say that I'm very, very fortunate to work with an incredible team at Northeast. Our leadership team, staff, parents, community partners, and students, they lifted this work. I'm truly indebted to their hard work and passion. Thank you to our Board of Education, Superintendent Leslie Myers-Small, the selection committee, and everyone else who supported me along the way, including my wife and kids who have had to deal with everything else that comes with the job. So thank you all. I'm truly humbled.
Thank you, Chief Avery DeToy and Principal Passereau. Thank you for your work and congratulations. Honoring our Elementary Educator of the Year will be Anna Murray Douglas School Number 12 Principal John Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to help recognize the recipient of RCSD's Elementary Educator of the Year, Mrs. Kelly Mulvihill. Dedicated, passionate, hardworking, organized, caring, calming, amazing. Those are some of the words in the recommendation letters submitted for Kelly's behalf in this nomination process. I've had the honor of working alongside Kelly on a daily basis, and in my 7 years as a school principal, I could not agree more that Kelly is a prime example of excellence in education in our district. Kelly, I wanted to make sure that the words of your students were presented to you this afternoon. I know that they engaged in a shared writing activity to write about you, and I know that they're listening right now. Quote, Mrs. Malvahill definitely deserves the Educator of the Year award. She deserves this because she teaches us how to be kind. Also, she says nice things to us and makes us feel special and good inside. Mrs. Malvahill is patient with us and never gives up on us. She is the best teacher ever. These are just a few of the reasons Mrs. Malvahill deserves this award. Unquote. Kelly, I know the work you do for our community goes well beyond the walls of your classroom, and I know this year has been an emotional roller coaster. You've taught me to be a better servant leader, and for that, I say thank you and congratulations for this honor and your exemplary service to the scholars of Anna Murray Douglas Academy and the Rochester City School District. Congratulations.
Thank you, John. I want to thank everyone involved in the nomination selection process. I'd like to thank John and my other colleague, Jeremy, for nominating me. I'm very overwhelmed that the two of you felt that I deserved this honor. I need to thank our AMDA 12 family because I could not do my job without them. We are a team and it takes all of us to do what's best for our scholars. And this year especially, I need to thank our families and the parents and family members who stepped up this year to help us all through this challenging school year. Without them, we would have never gotten through it. So I thank everyone and I accept this award with all of them in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Gonzalez and Miss Mulvihill. Congratulations. Honoring our secondary Educator of the Year will be School of the Arts Principal Kelly Nicastro.
Good evening, everyone. I am here to introduce Matthew Fusco. He has been in School of the Arts for 15 years as our ELA teacher. When I asked the students I'm going to start over. I think something happened. Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to introduce Matthew Fusco. He has been at School of the Arts as our English 7th grade teacher for 15 years. When I asked the students about Mr. Fusco, they described him as patient, engaging, funny, and kind. When I asked our faculty, they said he was enthusiastic, a team player, helpful, and knowledgeable. But the one attribute that makes him stand out is the way he engages students and improves their learning, and he treats each student as an individual by being empathetic and understanding what may be going on in their lives. Mr. Fusco is a valuable member of our SOTA community, but during the pandemic, he did certain things that really stood out. In February, as we prepared for our students to enter the building for hybrid instruction, Mr. Fusco realized that his 7th grade students never stepped foot in School of the Arts before. To ease their fears about coming to school, he answered questions about finding their classrooms, what to do when they entered the building, and what happens during lunch. In addition, he then picked up his computer and created his own live virtual tour by walking them through the building. And this showed that he really cared about the students because he walked the entire building with them on his computer. Mr. Fusco developed such a positive rapport with his students that lasts way beyond 7th grade. But in addition to forming positive relationships with his students, he also forms relationships with and connections with the students' parents. One parent wrote to me and said, Mr. Fusco consistently has taken much of his personal time to reach out and speak to me. He has demonstrated that he is accessible to all his students and parents, regardless of his busy schedule. It is the caring, enthusiastic manner that I admire most about Mr. Fusco. In a time so challenging, it is so refreshing to find someone so naturally that possesses all these skills. He is inspiring, trustworthy, and a teacher who honestly takes his students' needs of education first. I am touched by his passion and dedication to his students, and he has motivated my son to push and do better. When she shared these comments with her son, it put a huge smile on his face. School of the Arts is honored and proud to have Mr. Fusco as part of our faculty. And we are very proud that he was named secondary educator for the school year 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nicastro, for those kind comments. I just want to thank Dr. Leslie Myers-Small, Chris Miller, and the school board for this great recognition. My parents always told me to surround myself with greatness. And I feel like I've done that here at SOTA for the last 15 years, as Ms. Nicastro said. So I just want to take a few minutes to talk about those great people that I surround myself with. First off, I want to start off with my principal, Kelly Nicastro. I live my life kind of, I don't know if she knows this, but I asked myself at school, what would Kelly do? So she sets the tone here at SOTA and is a true definition of a leader. Her communication this year has been top notch, especially during all this craziness. Her weekly emails, updates on Sundays are really awesome to read. And her administrative team is really top notch. Ms. Aspinlater, Mr. Tire, Mr. Chandler, Mr. Belcafini, and Mr. Michelson, they're all stellar. And so she surrounds herself with great people that make it better even so at SOTA. When we were coming back into the building, I have a quick story. When we were told we were coming back hybrid, I emailed Kelly and I said, I don't think my room is going to fit on all the students. And she emailed me to that. And so she responded that she would come up to my classroom to physically move some of the furniture and desks to make sure all my students would fit. And that kind of reminded me how special Kelly is. I don't think all principals would have done that. So I thank her for that. And Ms. Nicastro gave me a postcard 15 years ago that said, have a great first day. You are awesome. And the kids are so lucky to have you. I have it here that I put on my wall. And I look at it throughout the year. So thank you for that. Ashley Perez is a colleague of mine that I just want to give a shout out to. She came a year after me, and I just want to say I knew she was great when I first met her, and I can't imagine being at SOTA without her. So thank you, Ms. Perez. You're a colleague for life. Just want to give a shout out to my fourth floor peeps. We're the best floor at SOTA, I think. No offense to other floors. But Arundel, Bast, Mazursky, Coughlin, Antonio, Schumann, Rausch, Walsh, Bridenstine, Ballestas, Kosha, Cohen, and Brian Chandler, all of you rock. Nija Branca, you should be every teacher's mentor. School-based planning team, I've been on it for 10 years. We have a great team led by Ms. Nicastro. Shout out to my students who I call my Fuskinators. I'm not sure if they're watching tonight, but they'll always be my Fuskinators and my families. Lastly, I'd like to thank Ryan, GM, Mr. and Mrs. T, Kathleen and Christine. They're my family. Thanks for all the support and putting up with my grading on the weekends and all my planning on the weekends, Friday nights. I'm still planning and grading sometimes, so thanks for doing that. And even though my parents aren't with me today, I feel like I listened to them and surrounded myself with greatness. So thank you for this recognition.
Thank you, Principal Nicastro and Mr. Fusco. Congratulations. Honoring our special subject educator of the year will be Flower City School number 54 Principal Lashara Evans.
Can you see me? I can't see myself here. Can you see my beautiful face?
Yes, we can, Miss
All
Evans.
right. First, I just want to recognize that while most of you are virtual, we do have a live audience. So I am honored to share a few words on behalf of Mr. Arends. Being an educator is more than just instruction. An educator has a passion for addressing the whole child. Mr. Renz displays just that. He is our vocal music teacher, but he also instructs sections of instrumental music. However, his contributions to the school goes beyond the subject of music. At Flower City, we foster the 3 C's: culture, climate, and communication. Mr. Ren's contributions to the school environment helps our 3 C's to blossom. Whether it's creating our social media platform and making sure all the wonderful aspects of our school is shared, to taking time out of his schedule to hang out in the lunchroom just to help out and chat with students. When there is a need at our school, he's the first one to find a solution. Recently, Flower City was designated a grief-sensitive school by New York State Life Foundation and received a $500 grant to help create bereavement support plan and encourage ongoing staff development as part of the National Grief-Sensitive School Initiative. Mr. Renz will develop a music enrichment program for students who are experiencing grief. With that grant money and in collaboration with Bonunzio Uptown Music Store, Mr. Renz was able to provide 11 ukulele packs for students. Lastly, being an educator is making sure that you're always willing to self-reflect in an effort to become better. Mr. Renz is not afraid to be vulnerable and open himself up to learning new ways to connect with students, even if that means taking a deep look at himself. Mr. Renz, thank you for all that you do for the Flower City community, and congratulations. And I have the award. Wait, give it, woo!
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really grateful to be the recipient of a Rochester City School District Educator of the Year Award. This recognition is a huge honor, and I'm really glad to be able to share it with everyone, especially the ones that are here behind me. I'm grateful, very thankful to the faculty, staff, students, and families at Flower City School 54. Our school community is constantly lifting each other up and bringing out each other's personal best. I need to send gratitude to Alex Pitnell for nominating me. I know that together we're building a really amazing music program in our school for our students. To give a shout out to Allison Schmidt, who's been my peer reviewer and mentor by my side since day number 1 in RCSD. Because of her coaching and just constantly being by my side, I've been able to learn how to examine and improve my practice in countless ways. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank my family who just helps me navigate the ups and downs of teaching every day. It feels great to be able to be seen and recognized by so many people who work in different capacities in our schools, from the teachers who are down in the trenches working side by side to those who oversee logistics and management of running a school in a district of our size. Knowing that you see us all is so critical. What I feel right now is an amazing thing to feel, especially after the year that we've had together. We had to reconfigure everything that we once knew about teaching in order to meet this year's unique set of challenges. I share this recognition with teachers everywhere who found successes in this school year. And I hope that as we receive these awards, we can in turn ensure that all of our students know that they too are seen, heard, recognized, and honored also. Because at the end of the day, without them, the job of a teacher is not here. Thank you again to everyone who helped me get where I am today, and to those who've always had my back through thick and thin. This award is a huge honor and represents and means a whole lot more. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Evans, and Mr. Arends as well. And I want to congratulate you a bit further and share that you will be the district's representative to enter into the New York State Teacher of the Year competition. So congratulations and thank you. Honoring our support staff Educator of the Year will be Rochester Early Childhood Education Center Director, Lisa Traficante Lanco.
Good evening. I am so proud and honored to say a few words about Phyllis Simborg, who is a paraprofessional at Rochester Early Childhood Education Center, also known as RECES. Phyllis has been happily serving our district for 27 years. She has been with RECES since the first day we opened 5 years ago at 107 North Clinton Avenue. Phyllis exemplifies what is best about our district and our school community. She puts children first. She is passionate, kind, and understanding to all. She never settles for less than the best for our children. Phyllis has participated in many instructional professional developments and is as versed in our curriculum as any teacher. She teaches alongside with her team and is not bound by job descriptions. She welcomes our children by names in the morning and guides them through their instructional day, not only in basic routines and academic concepts, but most importantly, in their social emotional growth and problem-solving skills that are vital in our community right now. She is a dedicated activist and accompanied our team on home visits in the summer. She brought mail-in ballots to all our Rochester families, which were all ready with return envelopes and stamps. Phyllis, you exemplify good practice, not only for your knowledge of curriculum, but because above all else, you are a good person and good to our children. I am proud to call you my colleague and part of our RCSD Reese's family. Thank you for all you do.
And Ms. Seamboard, did you want to say a few words?
I would, thank you. I'm deeply humbled. I want to thank my dedicated colleagues, the paras, clerical staff, custodial maintenance workers, central office staff, bus drivers and attendants, the backbone of RCSD, who have made an impossible year possible. I want to thank my husband, Greg, for everything. I also want to thank Lisa Traficante for her unparalleled leadership at Rochester Early Childhood Education Center. I also want to thank Marcella Adams for reviving in me the passion of a young educator. I also want to thank Steve Matos for his example. Steve, your dedication is the hope I hold for the future. I also want to thank Susie Carney for her example of professional excellence and dedication. But mostly, I'd like to thank my preferred coworkers, those under 3 feet tall. You have given me more than I could ever return. I want to dedicate this award to Tina Seaborn, who exemplifies the dignity and privilege of serving our children. I learned from Tina how to be a para, how to become a valuable member of our community, how to be respectful to people, both large and small, how to accept the person in front of you with no judgment, how to give back to a community that has given us so much. Tina also showed me how to recognize a community hero in the flesh. She is the definition. This is for you, Tina. Finally, I need to use this platform to call my fellow educators to work for one more goal for our children. Work to stop the violence that desecrates the streets where they live. Stop the violence that spills onto their school grounds. Stop the violence that haunts our young scholars' hearts and minds. May I suggest one way to begin this work? Come visit one of our preschool classrooms where you will witness our youngest scholars practice their awesome interpersonal problem-solving skills, skills that I like to think of as preschool restorative justice. Truly a seed of hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Traficante Lunco and Ms. Seamboard, for those inspiring words. Congratulations. Our last recipients honoring our team duo Educator of the Year will be our Chief of Operations, Michael Schmidt.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly an honor to recognize two incredibly special people. March 13th of 2020, we received our first notification that a staff member had tested positive and that districts in Monroe County were going to close. On the morning of March 14th, these two individuals stepped into action. They and then for the next 470 days, starting including today, there have been no days off. I'm a true believer that character is revealed in how you respond to adversity. And many people talk about character. Many people think about it, write about it. And these two individuals walked it every single day. Their mindset, which was strong and positive, their commitment every day to our students and our staff member in our community, and their attention to detail in incredibly difficult circumstances. Their compassion as we faced some really difficult losses of staff members and students over the past year. Little becomes big. Small actions create huge impact every day. Nobody really knew 470 days ago who Stacy and Aaron were. We work behind the scenes in operations, and very, very rarely are we on the front lines or out in front, on public facing. That all changed 470 days ago. These two were at the forefront of almost every public conversation that this community had around COVID. Pressure is about perspective. These two never let anything remotely come close to distracting them from what they needed to do. Both are moms, wonderful mothers of young children, and made tremendous sacrifices at home in order to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I remember talking to Aaron and Stacy both on Thanksgiving, on Christmas Day, New Year's. There was not a holiday where we were not in some sort of contact and communicating. And finally, I think leadership is rooted in relationships. And these two, Aaron and Stacy, displayed that every day. Teacher meetings, community meetings, meetings with families who have dealt with tragedy, being able to be firm because safety is not negotiable, but also compassionate, understanding, and flexible when necessary. That is the examples of leadership. And for our operations teams, I'm not quite sure what we would have been, where we would be now if we did not have Aaron and Stacy at the forefront of all of our plans and all of our different iterations. And I think back to 470 days ago, that morning of the 13th, we met over in the Emergency Ops Center with the county executive and the mayor. And all of a sudden, two bright shining lights were presented to us. So it is really my honor to, to recognize Stacy and Aaron for their amazing work and great teamwork. Congratulations.
Stacy and Aaron, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Do you want to go first, Aaron?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Your words are humbling. It's an honor to receive this award. I thank those who nominated us and supported us. I could never have imagined a year like this. We could not have done this work without the support from Deputy Martinez Davis and Mike. We also want to acknowledge the communications team who always answered our team calls and assisted us in whatever we needed. I have a new level of respect for our building administrators and thank them for their continued support and commitment to our students. I want to thank Dr. Kazarowski, Dr. Shipley, and Dr. Halterman. I feel so fortunate to work and collaborate with you. Your work to bring the school and medical community together through this pandemic has been inspiring. I want to thank our BOCES nurses who always support my ideas and plans and always put the needs of our students first. And I just want to say that I'm encouraged that our work together during this trying time and difficult time will result in stronger partnerships, better access to healthcare, and new innovative ways of communicating with our families and students. Thank you all.
I just wanted to mirror some of Aaron's comments and just say thank you. It's an honor to receive this award. I'm truly humbled by it and full of gratitude. Just like Aaron said, really working with everyone, communications, building administrators, the nurses, the teachers through this has made it, we didn't do this alone, essentially. Thank you all so much. And I'm going to stop talking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Schmidt, Ms. Darby, and Ms. Groutman. Congratulations. At this point, I'd like to welcome Vice President Cynthia Elliott, who will provide some closing remarks.
Thank you, Chris. What a wonderful recognition. We have to do more of these because I truly am believing that there are more of our staff, more of our teachers that are doing the right thing as opposed to doing the wrong thing. But unfortunately what happens is that we hear about the negative things in the press. And so I'm glad that the superintendent and the chief of HCI are putting on these kinds of recognitions because it does in fact change the narrative of our school district. You all are doing an amazing job. And I'd like to thank you for that. I heard words like, people being sensitive to the violence that's going on in our community, and terms like humility and trustworthiness and character. We don't always get a chance to hear those kinds of words. And so I'm just delighted and myself am humbled by all of what our recipients have accomplished in our school district. And so I would want to thank you for all of this work. And you may know the biblical verse that says, to whom much is given, much is required. And I'm sure you're doing that. Take those attributes that you have that has caused you to be recognized by the Board of Education and touch it and allow what you have to be touched by others, because we still have to ensure that every student in the Rochester City School District is career and college ready. And I think you have done that. And just want us to continue to recognize our staff so that they could continue to provide that kind of those attributes to our students even the more. So on behalf of the Rochester Board of Education, I do thank you. Very much appreciate all of what you have done. Keep up the good work. Thank you again very much.
Thank you, Vice President Elliott. And so with that concludes our 2021 Educator of the Year Awards program. I'd like to thank our nominating selection committee. I'd like to thank the individuals who nominated our candidates. I'd like to thank the supervisors who presented them and congratulate again our 7 recipients of the 2021 Educator of the Year program, and encourage everyone to nominate a deserving staff member next spring when we get ready to do awards for 2022. Thank you and have a great night.